Welcome back to Crafting with Slavie. I am sharing another holiday card video with you. This one is a lot of fun. It's using a hot foiling technique as well. So I started off a day before I assembled this card and I just made a whole bunch of backgrounds. This was one of them. I'm using tumbled glass, shaded lilac, and wilted violet to make my background. And I was really inspired to make this card using Unicorn Picnic from Lawn Fawn, and I really wanted it to be kind of surreal almost, so hence the color combination. I ended up really enjoying this card, and yeah, so once my ink blending was done, I took my Starry Sky stencil and I put some of the DecoFoil Transfer Gel in Blanco on my stencil. And you could tell when I put it down that it was already kind of dirty from a previous card that I had stenciled. And the nice thing about this product is you just scoop it back up into the jar when you're done. And then you let it dry. So I let mine dry about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I used silver foil to foil the stars on there. Now, the nice thing about DecoFoil Transfer Gel is that it allows you to do this. So you use a hot laminator and run it through. I use the 5mm setting to run mine through. But the nice thing about the DecoFoil Transfer Gel is that you're able to laminate without like a glimmer plate or extra stuff, and a laminator is relatively inexpensive. Now they also make a product called Transfer Gel Duo, which allows you to also use dry embossing to foil. But because I didn't know that that product existed at the time that I bought the Blanco, that's what I'm using, but it's fine because I have a laminator. So all good. So from there, I'm using spun sugar, and I am going to use a brick stencil, also from Lawn Fawn, to do like a contrasting color in worn lipstick on my little castle. And I am using Post-it tape to hold it down. There's also this rectangular piece that comes with the stamp set, and I just put that at the top so that I could hit all of these pieces all at once. And again, I'm going through it with worn lipstick. You can also use pixie spray to adhere your stencil to your card projects. I didn't do that in this case just because I didn't want to spray it inside of the house. It's pretty cold outside, so I didn't want to take stuff outside. And this was just a little bit faster for me. So then I used wilted violet to do all of the door and window frames. And I think I ended up using worn lipstick? No, shaded lilac. So with the door, I did end up cutting off the doors, and I just used the wilted violet as a frame. And then I used the shaded lilac portion as my doors. But because I didn't have them open, I only did it on the one side. And then the worn lipstick I used on these little hearts that go inside of the banners that we will see, as well as the flags and the door handles. And then the wilted violet I used again for the flags and those banners that the hearts go into. And what else? Oh, and then I used the wilted violet on the tops of the turrets and the towers, which ended up being a really nice combination. Now, I'm going to leave and let you watch the coloring, and then we'll come back a little bit and talk about chunky glitter, because why not? If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please make sure that you do. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. And I will be right back. And I'm back. Okay, let's talk about chunky glitter. So I like to adhere my chunky glitter before I start assembling my card. Some people like to do it after they've assembled the card and they can see where the glitter needs to go, but I find that then it gets into everything and I prefer this, as this just seems much cleaner to me. So I put the glitter on top of all of the clouds, on top of all of the turrets, and it just made my soul really happy. So from there, I adhered my background panel onto an A2 sized card. And you can see that my panel is exactly an A2 size card. A2 size, so it just fits perfect. And then I started off with putting the large cloud from Unicorn Picnic at the bottom. If you zoom in, you can see that I've only put glitter on the sides because I knew that my castle was going to go in on top of it. So then I adhered the frame to the panel, and I had used squeezed lemonade to color the cutout, and I just adhered it to the back because I knew that I wasn't going to be using it with the reveal wheel, so I just needed to cover that spot up because I didn't want the sky to be showing through the back. And then I popped it up on foam, and I think most of the pieces I used today are popped up on foam, so you'll see that as we go through the video. I'm not sure how much talking I'm going to do through this video. The assembly part is a little bit lengthy and self-explanatory, so you don't need me to explain that to you. Yeah, so I'm going to take a step back. If there's anything that I need to talk about, then I will. And anything complicated, I will come back and discuss. All right, so almost near the end, I totally had these pieces and I had colored them in the lighter purple. And then I realized, oh my gosh, they're windows. They should be yellow. So I whipped out my squeezed lemonade again and I colored them over. And that's the nice thing about using die cuts is you can totally do that and it's fine. And the other pieces are just little pieces of scraps. So you can either keep them for the next project or you can throw them out like I did because I wouldn't know what those go to the next time I saw them probably. So once that was all done, I started popping up all of the elements that I was going to put on this card. So all my clouds, my unicorns, everything was going to get popped up because I was just loving the dimension today. And you'll see that I'm trying to be a little bit strategic. So like with the unicorn here, I am gluing him onto the cloud, but of course the cloud is popped up. So the top half of the unicorn also has to be popped up. And yeah, just doing things like that. So the other thing that I can recommend to you is if you are popping up a bunch of stuff, make sure, well, I mean, it's your choice ultimately, but what I like to do is I like to, like for example, that banana split, I adhered the spoon to the banana split before I popped it up. And that just makes it easier for me to know where the foam tape needs to go. And I use it as another form of making sure that those pieces don't come apart. And then from there, I just kept working and attaching all of my little bits. And I had that one cloud left over and I decided that I was going to cut it in half and put it on either side. And right around here is where I realized that I didn't have a sentiment. So I mentioned it in a previous video. I don't know, I made a whole bunch of videos without realizing that I didn't have a sentiment. I got better, I promise. And I'm actually incorporating my sentiment into the layout before I started hearing things down, so I know what's going on. I used my anti-static powder tool and just white cardstock, the same that I made the card base from, the 80 pound. And I used, oh my goodness, I don't remember, but I linked it below, the sentiment, and I use the word magical from Unicorn Picnic because I just really loved it. Wishing you and your family a magical Christmas. I think that may actually be from Ho Ho Holidays, but I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, it'll be in the description below. And then because I just needed the A, I masked it off with a little bit of Post-it tape while I stamped it. And then I took the Post-it tape off and actually followed through with the stamping. And I did that twice. And then I double popped up the sentiment in the places where it needed to be double popped. And then I went around everything with my glitter pen there, which is also linked below, just to give it that extra shine. And I just love how this card turned out. It's so sparkly and beautiful and mesmerizing. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day and I'll see you in the next video.